Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Truth and Tonic for Women, where we always try to make it make sense. So today, I'm so excited for today because we have Laura Wharton on the show, and she is a chef, and it really and truly is one of those things that's near and dear to my heart is food. I mean, like, it shouldn't be, but it is. So I've always wanted to know what goes into becoming a chef and owning your craft and being at the top of your game, which she definitely is. So, Laura, welcome to the show.
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you.
Oh my God. I'm so excited to speak to you about this because
I'm excited.
Laura and I met in the gym, sweating it out. And she told me she was a chef. And I was like, That is so cool. Like, I mean, I know, like, okay, it's a profession, but food is one of those things that's very personal, right? So how did you end up with a love of food that allows you to create things for people and then sit there and wait to see if they're going to love it or not like it?
Oh, that's a great question. It honestly has always been personal for me because of my mom and my grandmother. Like, I always, Thanksgiving, Christmas, like, I was always at the table with them. You know, like, my job was to cut the vegetables for the stuffing every Thanksgiving. My mom made the sweet potato pie. My grandmother did, you know, the greens. So I don't know. I just always grew up around them. I just love being around there. My mom coming home from work, I'm like by her hip. What are you making for dinner tonight? You know, so it's always just been like that personal thing for me. And I really wasn't good at anything else.
I find that really hard to believe.
I mean, you know, I was a ABC student, you know, like I was well-rounded. I did do music for a little bit. Like I was okay, but I took a culinary class in high school. And that was the first time I got like straight A's. Our group
and it was
like,
easy?
It came naturally to me. And everybody in my group was like, oh, your food is so good, you know, because you have, you know, Laura on your team. And you know, my teacher at the time, Miss Livingston, she was very like honest and was like, if you do want to go into food, it's long hours, you know, you kind of have to like balance your life and really like love this. So that's when I went more toward culinary than like pastries. Cause I love, you know.
Can you do both? Because some people can't do both.
It's hard. I'll do basics. I'll do cookies, brownies, cakes, whatever. Don't ask me to make a wedding cake. I cannot decorate and pipe on a cake. I don't have the patience.
It's kind of hard for me. I can't even put frosting on a cake. I thought it looked so easy when my grandmother did it, and I did it a couple years ago. I'm like, this is not easy. This looks like I'm not smart.
I like watching the videos of people like frosting cakes. So like my TL is always like someone building a cake, but yeah, shout out to pastry people because that's the job.
And it seems like they have to deal with like measurements and like everything has to very
precise. My best friend, her name is Devin. She is a pastry chef, and she always tells me about her day. She gets up at like 3 or is at work at like 3 a.m.
Yeah, because you gotta
make all this stuff. Exactly. And I would tell her every time, I was like, I don't know how you do that. Like,
to have a best friend as a pastry chef, y'all must be a dangerous combo.
I know. She lives in Charleston. I always say Charlotte, but it's Charleston. So definitely, I told her, if you come to Atlanta, like, we have to definitely make something. Great. She can make all my desserts for my clients because I don't like doing them. Great. But it'd be so fun.
So you were born in New York, and you grew up in New Jersey.
Yes, I grew up in South Jersey.
I had no idea.
Really?
Because I lived in New York for 20 years, and like when I read your bio, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, my family's from New York. Like my dad's from Brooklyn. My mom's from the Bronx. She moved to Harlem in I guess her later years. My dad's super Brooklyn though. And then I guess when I was 3, we moved down to South Jersey, Edgewater Park. But you know, all my cousins, especially from my dad's side, my aunts and uncles, they're still in, you know, Queens and stuff like that.
But what better place to pick up on like different styles of food that everything's there.
And so my grandmother on my dad's side, she actually liked to cook. And before she passed away, you know, before I was born, but you know, he'd always tell me stories about how she would cater around New York and do like wings, and her background, she's very like Caribbean, like St. Kitts. So she cooked, you know, a lot of like West Indian food and, you know, things like that. So like, I feel like that was always in my blood through her. Yeah. You know, my dad says it till this day. Like,
you got a spark. Well, you at least it was like simmering back there
just
in the back of your head.
Yeah.
So how do you go from high school? Like, what do you do after high school to be a chef?
So, you know, shout out to my guidance counselor in high school. His name was Mr. Lundy. He pretty much said to me, like, have a dream school and then have like your safety schools. So at the time I was taking that culinary class and I was, you know, thinking about, okay, do I want to take this seriously? Like, if I were to take this seriously, like, what is my dream culinary school? And that's when I found Johnson & Wales University. Yeah. And he was like, well, you should apply, you know, see if you get in. And, you know, if not, because I was in New Jersey, you know, Rutgers and just safety schools. Yeah. So I did get into Johnson & Wales.
Yeah, Steven, my husband last night was like, well, can she cook us something? Like, what is going on?
Now that I know that you live close, I would love to. Like, we could definitely, I should have bought something. I'm horrible
No,
chef,
I was like, Steven, at the end of the show, I'm going to be like, can you come back and cook something for us?
Absolutely. No, and that's why I like doing it, you know, because even, like I said, just growing up, like I'm just thinking about my childhood. I was always making brownies and stuff for my friends' birthdays, and my friends still laugh about it to this day. I made a cake that wasn't so good. It was a red velvet cake, and they were like, I don't know, that's one of their memories of me like learning and, you know, experimenting with cooking, stuff. And they still laugh at me about that till this day, about that red velvet cake. But you know,
was it good?
That cake wasn't good. That cake was not good.
It was not?
I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was the icing. Something didn't work right. And they, till this day, they've had a lot of my food. And they're like, yes, you've improved. But that cake, they will never
you got to count on your friends to tell you the truth. So what was it like going to that school?
Okay, so culinary school was interesting for me. You know, especially being a Black woman going to basically a PWI school. Definitely felt out of place. My freshman year, it was so Johnson & Wales, I think, is the best school where you can be well-rounded. There's sports, athletics, and different things, and then you could do culinary. It's not really like strictly culinary 24/7, right. So I like that. But when it is, we had labs that were from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. and you had to dress in full chef uniform. So the hat, you know, the jacket had to be ironed a certain way, the pants ironed a certain way, and like, you know, 7 a.m. This is a new state, because I went to school in Rhode Island. Like, new state, far from home, like having to stay on top of all this. It was very, like, you know, overwhelming. But I think just, again, I was just good at it, you know, like it was something that just kind of came easy to me. And I really just decided to focus on, okay, let me just, you know, stick this out, see how far I go. I met some really good people, you know, through, you know, my classmates and stuff that became, you know, my college friends. So I just think the first year was very
are there exams for like culinary school?
Yes. So, you know, there's a meme that goes around where it's like, oh, we have spaghetti due at 11 a.m. Like, that's literally
really
like we have like, you know, a talk about, I don't know, let's say we're learning about soup today, right? And we'll talk about different soups around the world, and maybe the soup of the day is like chicken noodle. So, okay, we have 2 hours to make a good chicken noodle soup, and we're graded, you know, on flavor, presentation, knife skills. So how you're cutting your vegetables. There's certain ways that people do it, but like,
I'm like totally jealous. I didn't know anything like that was out there.
Oh yeah. And then even when we're doing like basics, lots of mashed potatoes. You cut a lot of potatoes, a lot of carrots, a lot of things like that. French fries. But a lot of fries, a lot of basics, I will say.
Do you gain weight in culinary school? Because I feel like I would gain a lot of weight, especially as a freshman. Anyway, you're gonna put on some weight.
So, see, freshman year I was scared to gain weight, so I was in the gym like every day. Like freshman 15, that was just in general. I was like, I'm not doing that now. When we know my gym journey, like, it's caught up to me a little bit. It's caught up to me. But
then you were fine.
Back then, because I was so scared. And I just think because the school was so active, like I was constantly walking. We had 2 campuses. there. So, you know, it was just a lot of walking, a lot on my feet. So I think I naturally got a lot of steps in college, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it caught up to me.
Well, I think weight catches up to all of us. Ooh. I was just wondering if I was like in that situation that I would be like, French fries? Of course.
Yeah.
French fries?
I mean,
of course.
We ate everything. And I liked having friends that were also chefs too, because I mean, we did struggle.
Everyone had a different flair.
Yeah. We struggled in college, but like we didn't really struggle because, you know, when there was no food, right? We're all in the pantry, like, okay, we have this. Like my best friend Savannah, she was always making, you know, Puerto Rican food. Oh my gosh.
Nice.
So like pastelito, she was in there making the doughs and the rice, and it's like that's what we ate 4:00 in the morning. You know, so
school was fun
for me. Yeah, I love college. I had a lot of fun in college. Loved college so much. But after I got out of my head a little bit and I met, you know, my friends, it just got really comfortable. You know.
Yeah. So was your final exam like senior year about cooking?
So Johnson Wales, they split their courses up into like trimesters. I don't think they do it anymore. I think they switch now to semesters. But
I think pretty much everything.
Yeah, I think now everyone's semesters. But back then we had trimesters. So we used to have, I think, 5 or 6 classes in like 11 weeks for like 9 days straight. And each class was like a different course, I guess. So like, you know, we'll have, I don't know, a knife cutting class, you know, things about cooking with your senses. We'll have like a product identification class. And at the end of every class, we'll have a final. Basically, it's like a crash course of everything you learned. And then you kind of move on to the next subject. I think my senior year, we did have like that core class that you had to pass in order to graduate. And that basically was like, you and a team ran your own restaurant.
Oh, that sounds
like,
fun.
Yeah, it was like a bistro class. And you pretty much, your team came up with the menu. You had front of the house staff, back of the house staff. Just, you know, everybody had a job to do. And for that time period, you had to like run your whole service. So can't remember what we made. Man, it's aging me a little bit, but it was really fun. It was really fun. It was fun.
After graduation, what do you do? Do you go like to your local
well, see,
Applebee's? Like, what do you do?
See, no, I mean, COVID. I graduated during COVID, so that just completely
must have been crazy.
Yeah, that threw like a wrench into like every plan that I ever had.
Wow.
COVID was rough. Like
what was your plan if COVID had not?
So if COVID didn't happen, I was planning to, you know, to stay in Rhode Island and hopefully, I don't know, work with the school to get like a job or something. Because I didn't really know what was out there. But Johnson Wales is really good at helping, you know, alumni like find jobs, and they're really well connected with a lot of like restaurants and stuff. Or just go back to some of my old internships, because that's a requirement in our school. We had to do an internship. So I interned, you know, in Miami. I even studied abroad a little bit. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll go and see.
Yeah, we're going to have to talk about this French
we'll talk about that. But COVID happened in March, so I didn't even really get to graduate. That was like literally the end of my senior year. Kicked everybody out. Everyone had to go online at home.
Yeah, I got my doctorate there. I didn't walk either.
Yeah,
I went to school and didn't receive anything.
And I think that kind of like messed with me a little bit mentally, because I just didn't feel like I finished. Yeah. You know, like all this work and all this time I did, I was like,
I know exactly.
Even still, this was 5 years ago, and I still just feel like, you know what I mean? So that was wild. And I think, you know, going back home, they really did. And I think of the people too, like high schoolers, no prom, no you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, I think, and that
rite of passage was like missed.
It was, and that was a really big moment. But I'm like, everybody else experienced the same thing, so it's like, you know, that's kind of comforting in a sense. But like, you know, I went to school all 4 years out of state, and then coming back home, living with my family, that was a lot, you know? Yeah. So it was just like, I just felt like backwards. So I was like, well, let me start from square one. I was like, maybe let me look at jobs. And I moved back to Rhode Island about a year after COVID, and I started working in social media, which was kind of like a flip from what I was doing as far as like cooking. Because during COVID, I was online a lot, and I just really started getting into like food photography and like food styling. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, so I was like, they all kind of blends together. You know, God works in serious ways, but at the time, it just felt like completely out of left field. because I'm like sitting on a computer all day, working a 9 to 5, just not cooking as much, but I was connecting with a lot of influencers on Instagram and just learning about like how they shoot videos and like, you know, what like kind of tips and tricks they're using to like curate like a Instagram page. And my job was to reach out to those and send products to them from our company and like get them to do like brand deals. So I was like on the back end of that,
I feel like I love your life. I do. It's so interesting. I'm like over here like changing bedpans.
I've just been everywhere. But it was interesting because I've never done anything like that. And then taking all of that experience and I was like, okay, well now I want to apply it to food. So, I left that job after about a year. My friend lived in Atlanta and she was like, hey, I have an extra room. I'm in a 2-bedroom. I have extra room here. You know, if you want to like come to Atlanta. My lease was up that summer and I no kids, I'm single, you know, and I was like, I'm packing up all my stuff and I'm driving to Atlanta.
That's cool.
And that's what I did. I put all my stuff in a storage unit and then drove 12 hours to Atlanta, just packed my car with whatever I could fit. And I was like, I'll get the rest of the stuff later.
Which my you never did.
At all. I mean, it took me like about a year to get that. And my parents were like, are you really doing this? And like, yeah. And like, if it doesn't work out for me, I'm very spontaneous like that. I was like, if it doesn't work out, I can always come back home, start over, you know, but, I've been here ever since. Never moved.
So do you love it?
Ago. I do like Atlanta. I like the food scene here, and I like how open everybody is. And then I also just like how personal chef, like that industry is like really big here. Like people really like seek that. I have struggled a little bit in Philadelphia finding that area, and even Rhode Island a little bit. To me, it was just very like, I don't want to say old fashioned, but I think Atlanta keeps up with a lot of the trends more, you know, and that's what I like.
So when you came down here, did you have any job leads? Like, how did you hop it or figure out, do I want to still do this social media part of it or get back to, or did you always know you were going to get back to cooking?
I think.
And you have a nickname, Chef.
Oh yeah, Chef Shell. Yeah, so I go by Chef Shell. That's actually, so Shell comes from my middle name. So my middle name is Michelle. And I was just seeing my best friend Derek was in town this week and we were talking about it. Him and my sister, we were in my living room. This was 2018. And I've always felt that Laura and my cooking was like two completely different people. Because like Laura is just very like, you know, I'm chill. I'm just, you know, whatever. And when I'm like in the kitchen, I'm very like professional and like, you know what I mean? I have all these great ideas and then I'm like, I go home and I'm just, you know, so I always just felt, I don't know, it's weird, but I've always felt like they were different. Yeah. So he was like, oh, well, we should come up with a name. And, you know, we were saying a bunch of different names and he was the one that said, well, what about, you know, Michelle and Shell? And I was like, oh, Chef Shell. And we all were like, oh, like, okay, that sticks. And ever since then, yeah, it stuck, you know? I love that. So everyone calls me Shell professionally. And if you call me Laura, then I know, okay, you know me from like back home or whatever. It's like,
you know that other side of me.
Yeah, like, you know, the real me. Like, you know, too much. But, so yeah, it just stuck. It just stuck.
That's
so
cool.
Yeah.
So you come to Atlanta and you're just like, what are you gonna do?
Atlanta was. I was partying a lot when I came here. Completely just blew all my savings in the first like 6 months that I was here, and I was like, okay, like
you can do that easily.
Need to calm down, you know. I did start out working for some. So it was like a startup company of someone who was doing like similar personal chef stuff. That didn't work out the way that I wanted it to. So I ended up leaving there and I was doing like a lot of freelance stuff just to like pay my bills while I was like actively searching for like personal chef jobs. And then I did find a company that was interviewing for a personal chef, but the interview process was like a month long. You know, they really go in depth into your life. You know, you can't just be anybody off the street. You know, you're working with very like high clientele people. They want to make sure you actually know how to cook. Can you fit with, you know, the culture that they had? So that took a long time, but I did eventually get hired there. And I was working there for about 1.5 years. And until I was like, you know, I can do this on my own, you know? And
so what was that? Now, was that like, I like to say, yesterday I had a guest on and we were talking about divine intervention. It was that thing that you said, I can do this. Because most people have that thing that says, you're not capable, you don't have the money, no one's going to like that. Like, what are you doing? You're stupid. How did you not have those voices?
I did a lot. I'm not even going to lie.
And so how'd you get through it?
I just think, honestly, my clients were really, I still have the same families that I've had when I kind of started, and they were the ones that were like, we'll support you and we want to stay with you, we want to be with you, you know, and like they were the ones that I think spoke life into me and saying like, oh, like you could do this. And like they were just confident in me, and like I don't know, I just felt like because I think I sent you the questions too, like imposter syndrome, you know, me being so young, you know, here I am at the time was like 23, 24. I'm cooking for like some of the hottest people in Atlanta right now, you know, and I'm working with people that are like 10 times my age. So it was like having to just constantly prove myself. And I think over that year, you know, I've seen myself grow so much that I was like, I can do this, you know, like you're 40, 50, we're doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm keeping up with you. You know what I mean? You're taking ideas from me. So it's like, I think I am. I in the beginning it was hard, but I think as I started doing it, I was like, no, like I could definitely do this. I'm doing it, you know, and I'm literally actively showing to my clients that I'm doing it and they trust me, you know? And I think that's when it clicked and I was like, I'm just gonna have to like
go out on your
just
own.
Do it. And I think, remember we were talking about it in the gym and I was nervous. I really was, because I was like, I've tried it before in New Jersey a little bit. My sister was a DJ and I used to cater her events, but I didn't know what I was doing when it came to business or anything. So I'm so thankful. I have a business manager. Her name is Emily. And we met, you know, through my last job, and she has just been a saving grace as far as somebody to bounce ideas off of and like really just say, no, like don't worry, just cook. I'm going to handle everything else kind of thing. And she does. Great. Yes. And I love her. Shout out Emily. You know?
Shout her out. So basically believing in yourself and a tribe around you has propelled you to be doing this thing that you love to do, going out on your own, coming from another state, just pack stuff in your car.
Literally.
Like hop out of the car and like, I'm here.
And my family too. Like, because we're very like close knit. It's just really my immediate family, my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother, and my grandmother. And that's kind of how we've always been, you know. But as I was going through this journey, you know, my aunts and uncles and cousins, they were really like supporting me, like, no, like go and do it. And just saying how like brave I was. And I think just that bond, you know, like really just inspired me too, because I'm always one of those people, like if I'm getting all this like pressure and things aren't working, I'm not gonna do it, you know. But this is the one thing, like, okay, I'm gonna pack my car and I'm gonna leave. My aunt's like, oh yeah, come stay with me on your way down. She lives in Virginia, you know. And it just, things were just working, and you know, it was just working. And I really was like, honestly, just trusting God, you know. And I always say to my sister, like, just having faith that you can do things, you know, because there are so many times, like even when I got here, I was like, I have no idea how or what I'm going to do, but I'm here. If you didn't want me here, you wouldn't have me here. You know what I mean? So, and that really was like kind of just how I thought. I don't know if it's crazy to think that way.
I've been reading a lot about, like, we call it faith. And I've been reading about how when it comes to manifestation, that it's, you know, your final destination, right? You want to be a personal chef and you don't know how to get there. But if you do these small steps every day, like get in the car and drive to Atlanta, stay on with your aunt all the way, like, you know, go out with your friends, have fun, but, you know, putting your one foot in front of the other, you eventually get to where you're supposed to go because you're trusting in something that you can't see, which is, that's faith of a mustard seed.
And, you know, so back to college, my freshman year, I had a chef. His name was Chef Oxtolis. He actually passed away a couple of years ago. But he was my very first chef in culinary school. Mind you, I already said I was nervous as all hell, like, you know. And, you know, first day of school, we were going around the class and he's like introducing everybody and he's, you know, say your name, where you're from, and like, where do you want to see yourself in 5 years? And I remember when it came to me, you know, at the time, before like influencer culture and like all that was big, like this is like 2016, that wasn't really like a thing. So I remember saying like, oh, well, you know, I want to be, I think I said like a food personality, like somebody who's well-rounded in food and does whatever. And I will never, I will never forget. He was like, well, what the hell is that? And I was like, oh. And he's like, well, you're wasting your time, you know, if you're not going into, you know, he was old school, you know, and he's like, you're wasting your time going to culinary school, but, you know, good luck or something. And I was like, wow.
Why do you want
he ended up being
like that?
He ended up being a very nice chef. Like I knew he was just trying to like, you know, rustle the freshmen up. But you know, that always stuck with me because I remember like saying that back then. Yeah. And now like seeing where I am now, it's like, okay, that's exactly what I wanted to probably happen. Yeah. So
are you still doing the social media aspect as well?
Oh, so that's crazy. This will probably be my first relaunch back on a social media whenever you drop this. Because now it's again finding balance. So it's like I took time off of social media to really like lock in and hone in on starting a business. And I think for me, it was really being like personable and like in real time, like making those connections, going out, doing the legwork, you know. So now I'm going to try to like go back to the social media because I do have TikTok and stuff like that. And I had a video that went viral, you know, so it's like, I want to get back onto that. But I think I needed to like set this up for me first.
Sow the seeds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because no one's ever done this. No one in my family's ever done this before.
I mean, like you know? Are making like a roadmap. This is like, I hope that like people listening will be like, oh, I can do that. I certainly have it in the back of my head, but how do I get there? But like you said, you took baby steps. You talked to the right guidance counselor. You pick a couple of schools. You go there. You kind of like.
I just always like. I don't take no as an answer. I love to go on like rabbit holes and research things a lot. So it's like,
and a lot of people get afraid with that first no.
You can't be afraid.
Right? Because what do they say that failure is teachable moments, and that you can't be successful unless you fail first.
Yeah, I feel, and even doing all this, I mean, it sounds like it all just happened easily. No, I
bet, what are the hours like?
I was going through, well, so, I mean, at one time, so now, I mean, that I have my own business, I kind of like curate my own hours. Okay. It's like, it's flexible. Some days are like 2 hours. Some days I'll work 12. Some days I'm working, you know, overnights or trying to prep stuff. But like even getting here when you're working for other people and businesses, that was really long hours. Yeah. And even before, at one point I had like 3 jobs that I was working just to save money so I wasn't going underwater, you know. Yeah. I did a bakery in the mornings, and then after that I worked a 9 to 5 social media company, and then I came home and I would drive like Uber and Lyft on my way back home to my apartment. God. Like I mean, hustling. when you talk about hustling, like I was locking in. I was like, I need to like just feel like I could be stable, because even moving to Atlanta, like when I came here, I still had my stuff in storage in Rhode Island. My family was in New Jersey. I just felt like my life was like in 3 different states right now. And I was like, I need to just stop and like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like you said, sow the seeds. I was like, I need to just find home. That's kind of what I did here, like in Atlanta, you know. So
home base, your own home base.
Exactly. So it took 3 years, you know, but now I'm like, okay, now I can do social media. Breathing. Now I could like,
so now you can add something to the pot. Are you excited about it?
I am. I know I am. And I just have so many ideas. Again, like Emily has been just a nice person. I could spit a bunch of ideas at her and she's like, okay, we can make this happen, you know? So that's awesome. Definitely like through the summer and towards the end of the year, if not beginning of next year, just looking forward to like kind of bringing people into my world and like showing them what I do. Because I'm like, I don't think anyone really knows like what I do.
We really don't.
You know? And it's hard because, you know, I of course stay like private with my clients and their privacy. But it's like, no, I think I need to like let people know, like, this is what I do. This is my life. This is literally my life, you know? So.
I mean, when I heard about it, I was just like, what? Like, you literally make food and like give it to people to eat. Yeah. Like, I would love that. I mean, petrified. But so what I have to ask these like crazy questions that pop into my head. What is your favorite thing to prepare? I mean, and do you have a different one for like customers as opposed to you just want to stay at home and like, this is my meal?
So I won't lie, I don't cook at home.
Because you cook so much.
I do not cook at home. We'll order out or I'll eat ramen. When I get home, I'm like, I can't. So I think my favorite dishes vary between each of the families that I have.
Okay.
So like I do go into their home and like, prepare in their kitchen. I think that also adds to my favorites. But I mean, if you were to ask them maybe like what's something I make a lot, they would probably say like Chinese food or like Mexican. That. Love tacos. I love sweet and savory, Korean barbecue, like, stuff like that. Yeah. So that's probably my favorite thing to make because that's probably what I'll eat. Teriyaki chicken. Love it. Oh my gosh. Love teriyaki chicken.
What are the relationships like when you are with a family for so long? Are they just like friends at a certain point?
No, you really become family. Yeah. Like they're really like my extended family. And it's weird because you're there for like big parts of their lives. Like I've seen their kids grow up, a lot of them I've been with for about 3 years now. So like I've seen them graduate school. Oh, wow. Like I've seen them go and celebrate anniversaries and, I've been there for those big moments, work parties, promotions. So it's like, I mean, it's kind of like a natural thing that happens, but it's like, yeah, I mean, I'm here in the mornings when you're getting up making coffee and you know what I'm saying? Starting your work day and just seeing them go through life. So it's like, not only am I there for them, but they're kind of there for me too. I look forward to checking in on them, and it's definitely more of like a family friendship, kind of relationship because it's like, how are you? Like what's going on? What's next? Or even when their family comes from town, like they all know me, or I'm like, oh yeah, so and so's here. So it really is like an extended family.
I think that would be so cool to have clients that are family, but it's your job. And doing something that you love to do, right? Because
they allow me to be, just
creative.
Yeah, myself. I mean, some of them. So I do have about 4 families now. One, we're kind of healthy, low carb. We count macros. The others, they have diabetes, so you can't really do a lot of things with sugar. One is just very open and just loves all types of food. They travel a lot, so they always are just make whatever. So I think just having like that balance of like, okay, so this day I can really focus on like, the macros for this family and making sure they're getting enough protein and carbs and fats. And then, the next day I was like, okay, I don't have to be so specific. I can just go in here and make whatever, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I was going to ask you about that. What do you do when you have someone that wants to eat healthy? Like, is that part of the curriculum at school? Is that something you learn outside of what you're doing?
So I feel like I think culinary school kind of opened the doors of like different cuisines that are out there. And I think through my own research and honestly my own health, I've learned to like hone in on some of those like flavors. So with every family, I start them off with like I guess you could say like not a checklist, but a preference sheet of like where we go through in very detailed. You tell me all the things you like. You tell me all the things you don't like. What are your goals? Really kind of trying to find like that why for them. Like, why do you even need me here? Like, yes, you want to eat healthy, but like, what is it doing for you kind of thing? And then from there, when people talk about food, you kind of like, I don't know, you can kind of just get a feel of like what they want. And then from there, that's when I go and I curate menus and I'll like, okay, well, we'll start with this menu for the week, see how you like it. And then I'm always big on feedback. So they're like, okay, well, we want to do, I don't want to cook with butter. Let's just cook with oil this time. Or let's just do, you know what I mean? Yeah. And you kind of just fix it along the way. And I feel like maybe about a month or so, you're kind of like, okay, now I know what you like. I know,
Yeah.
So it's a work in progress.
Yeah. I mean, especially now because you have like vegans, you have keto, you have all the things. Yeah. So you have to be kind of like tuned into all of that.
Yeah. You got to kind of stay. And maybe me not being on social media has, I want to say taking me away from that, but I do read a lot. Like I read a lot of magazines. I always keep up with the latest trends with my clients too, and seeing, okay, well, what are they looking for? And I think just even going back to I have notes and notes of just so much stuff in my apartment. It's crazy. And just kind of refreshing my mind. Like, I think you always just have to be receptive to learn. I never felt like I was always at the top of my game. Even if I have like the biggest clients, I'm still a student.
There's something else that I can
something
learn.
I don't know, or even from other people. They don't even have to be chefs. TikTok, and I think just how homey it feels. Like, I've learned little techniques from people who are like, oh, this is what I do. And I was like, oh, would have never thought about that. You know what I mean? So I think it's just being receptive to like pick up information kind of everywhere, you know, and just like staying on top of that, you know.
You hear, you guys, that you have to be on top of your game. You can't just, you know, make the same pancakes for what, 2, 3, 4 years. You have to do your research. You have to keep up on things. You have to be in the know. So, I mean, I feel like a lot of people hear that someone has a job like a personal chef or this, that, and the other, and they think to themselves, oh, I wish I had their job because it seems like so cool. But there's a lot of hard work and intention that comes along with every job that you think is cool. It's a lot of work. It might be cool, but it's a lot of work.
Owning a business is not for everybody. Like, you definitely have to be good with time management. Got to be adaptable, got to be flexible. You kind of have to have a lot of patience. You got to think quick on your feet. A lot of decisions. I mean, it's kind of wear a lot of hats. You know, you got to get comfortable.
You got to be like
hats,
comfortable around different types of people.
Because you're in their home. You know, you're literally in their home, so you don't know what to expect, especially when it's for the first time. You know, it's like, my thing is, I'm like, oh, they're just people, you know, and hopefully they're good people. And they're not mean,
no one like kidnaps me.
Like, no, right? Kidding. You know, and you never know. Like, people are crazy, you know.
I know that's going into someone else's home. Like, that's a lot of trust there.
Yeah, and even trust in me too. You know, they gotta hope that I'm sane. You know,
because you do have knives.
Yeah, right. I have knives, and I know my way around some fire. So it's interesting though. But I think I take a lot of that awkwardness out. And that's where I feel like that's where Shell comes in. Because me, I'm very like, you know, I'm laid back and I could just put my headphones on and just tune out the world. And then, you know, Shell's like, no, like, how are you? Like,
what are you doing?
You know, beautiful home. Like, you know, walk me around and kind of like lead those conversations. Because, I love that. You know,
I feel like everybody should have like a second personality that kind of drives
I think so. Because I just feel like, I don't know, like, it's just, I don't know. I'm not saying that I can't rely on Laura to be that way, but I just really think that it's just something different. I don't know. It's like,
I think it's like Superman.
Or like that's Clark my superpower. Like, you know,
I would love that.
But other than that, Laura is just very, very chill. People think I'm quiet, whatever. But you know.
I think that I would think that you were quiet, but I can see
my friends are probably laughing. They're like, she's not quiet. She's not quiet.
So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh, man. Oh, that question. 5 years. Well, honestly, I didn't see myself here.
TV personality
years, you know? And hopefully down the line, you know, maybe this might be a kickstart of just getting me more comfortable on camera.
Would you do one of those shows where you're like competing?
I would. If they reach out, I would.
Be fun.
I think that'd be fun. I think it's just for experience, you know. Of course, it'd be cool to win too, but I think that'll be really, really cool. So I'm like, who knows, you know, like I am just following God's plan for me and just keeping my mind open. He got me here this far and I had no idea that I'd be doing this and having the clients that I have and just, you know, the lifestyle. Yeah. Like I had no idea. So,
and now getting into social media, you have like two different, I mean, they do parlay with one another, but it's like food over here, social media over here. And then those two combined could be like amazing opportunities.
I think so, because I think people need to see my personality.
Share your and you can share your things with other people.
Yeah, and I think they just need. I like my perspective, you know, and I think that's what makes me different because I know there are a lot of people that do food now, and I just think I have a very unique perspective on things. And again, just how I am, like a lot of chefs don't look like me, you know, and I just think it's important just to be there. Yeah. So it's like that was always a goal in the back of my mind, was just to just be myself, you know, my quirky, weird and whatever. Cause, you know, a lot of chefs don't see that, especially chefs that, you know, like to dress and, you know, I love food, but it's like, I also love music. I love fashion. I love, you know, being girly, my hair, my nails, you know, so it's like just more of a lifestyle, like just literally bringing somebody into my life, you know, and just showing you like, this is what I do.
I can't wait to see you blow
I know.
up on social media.
I hope so.
I can't wait to see Chef
you
Shell.
know, just everywhere. And my dad, you know, and shout out to my dad, because he's always said that. He was like, you need to be prepared, because when you take this seriously, he's like, you're going to blow up. He's like, you are going to blow up.
I feel like he's very, very correct in that assumption.
But I really like, I need to, but that's me. Like, I need to get myself straight and be able to take on a lot more work too. So
you were like featured in Essence magazine. Like what?
I mean,
you were like, hello.
It's like, but when those things happening, and then I travel a lot more, it's like I definitely want to start finding like assistants and people to like take on that work if I'm gone so much. I think that's my next step, and I feel more comfortable once I have that. And I'm like, okay, now I can
delegate.
Yeah. Oh yeah, working with other people is a lot, but
managing other people.
But I've always had leadership positions in my life, and I think maybe that's me being a Leo. But like I'm very laid back, but I think I really, when it comes to actually like running something, like I was the drum major for my marching band for 3 years in high school. So that was a fun experience. But it's like when it comes to like managing stuff, I could do that. I just think doing it with food now, it's going to be a new thing, because it's like
you're gonna start opening doors.
I hope so
for everybody.
I hope so.
So what advice do you have for women out there who want to start their own journey in whatever industry that they're in? But how do you just...
I don't want to sound like Nike, but sometimes you just gotta do it. You just gotta do it. You gotta believe in yourself, for one. And I think you have to trust like your perspective on things, you know, because especially with social media, a lot of things get oversaturated where like people are saying you got to do this way and you got to do this way. But sometimes you don't see it that way. And it's like, trust that the way you see things and your perspective, you're seeing that for a reason. And it's like, always carry that with you through whatever you do, food, music, whatever, sports, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Like, and I think by doing that, like, I think your life will be pretty remarkable, you know? There's really power in believing in yourself. Like,
I love that.
You know, so...
It's a hard thing to do, but definitely.
Yeah. But it's
that's the key.
Yeah.
Have the faith and believe in yourself.
Yes.
I love that you came on the show today. I was so excited. I hope you come back and cook for us on film. That would be fun for me.
Yes.
I mean, it would be fun for me, and it'd be fun for my tummy. So I would love that.
What foods do you like?
I like Italian.
Okay.
I like French.
Okay.
I like Spanish. I like Chinese. Does that sound like I like
it doesn't
everything?
matter,
but I really don't, because I have food consistencies, the taste, the feel, and even the smell sometimes of food. Like, I hate wet bread. Like dumplings, I don't really like Mazda soup. Like, I could never.
A texture.
Or like too much butter on bread and the bread's wet. I hate that. I have never eaten an egg over easy, because I'm like, why is that oozing and what does it taste like? Because I say to people, oh my God, it's so good. I'm like, what does it taste like? And they can't tell me. And I'm like, nope, don't think I want it.
That's just texture.
And I went to Africa a couple weeks ago.
Yes, you did. How was Africa?
Okay, so that food, no, I
really
not just
spicy?
Texture wise. I love spice.
Okay,
but just texture wise, like no, no,
wow.
No.
What, like the goosey and fufu and stuff?
Just could not. I mean, I got a soup, and it had like things in it that were like rubbery, like that you have to chew, like gristle. Like I was like
tripe or something. Yeah,
all of that, all of it, and I was just like, no, I don't know. Can I get some grilled fish, please?
Okay.
Yeah, but their grilled fish was amazing. I tried goat for the first time over there, and that was good. It was spicy. So yeah, I like a lot of different types of food, but I do definitely have those like I love caviar and oysters, but I won't eat a slimy piece of bread.
I can't.
Isn't that weird?
Honestly, I can't even talk because I don't like cheese. I didn't
mayonnaise. Like cheese until I went to Italy for the first time.
Really?
And mayonnaise, I literally have to put put it on so I made tuna fish the other day, and usually I use avocado because I don't like mayonnaise.
Me too. Oh my goodness. Me too.
So
Me too.
I made it for my husband, and he was like, "This is the driest tuna fish," because I was just like, "Bloop, that's enough."
That's all, I'm the same way. My sister
like,
swears that food is so dry, and I was like, "No, I don't want all that. Those condiments sometimes. Like I
don't. I like mustard, and I mean, yeah, mustard.
Yeah. I just barbecue sauce. Barbecue sauce.
I like
a lot.
Spicy barbecue sauce, like tangy. I don't like sweet
spice.
No.
Yeah, that's actually funny. I always get bullied for that, and they're like, "How don't you like cheese?" Just feel like it overpowers.
Why
everything.
are you putting cheese on food? I mean, I like pizza.
Oh yeah, I love pizza.
When I did eat cheese, I'm like pizza. But people are like, yeah, "Can I get a chicken sandwich with cheese?" Why? Hamburger? Why do you need a piece of cheese on your hamburger?
I'll get extra pickles.
Yeah, but onions,
barbecue
lettuce.
sauce.
But why? Yeah, I completely agree with you.
Wow, I love that.
Well, you're gonna have to come back on. We're gonna have a meal. It's gonna be fun. Yeah. I'm so excited for you. I'm so glad that you came. I had no idea all the steps that it took to be a chef, and I've always wondered. So I'm so grateful that you came on and let me take a peek into your life.
Thank you for having me.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Always inspiring, or trying to inspire women to do everything and all things. So, and I hope we made it make sense today, and you think that you can go out there and start your own business. Well, I should say, don't think it, know it. You can do it. Just what Nike said. Just do it.
Just do it.
Bye, guys. Thank you for watching Truth and Tonic for Women. If you have any questions, leave a comment and let us know. Also, follow us on social media to interact with the community. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.